Warriors, Grand Rising. This message, Saturday message, is going to be a serious message. It's time to dive deep. You need to wake up, Warriors. You will own nothing and be happy. So I'm going to take you on a journey, a deep journey around how my brain works and how I'm preparing for the biggest shift, number one, in generational wealth, our transition into quantum financial system, and your world changing and looking completely different within the next 10 years. Now, the beautiful thing about this, Warriors, or the dark thing about this, is 99.9% of people are not paying attention. They're looking at this way at a WAP video in a pandemic. They're staring this way. And there's a whole nother narrative going on this way. But what I'm going to share with you guys is maybe going to sound a little grim. But what I'm going to do with you is share with you the tools and resources that I am doing to open up my mind and awareness to a new possibility. Because there's going to be two types of people that come out of this pandemic: a worrier and a warrior. So I'm going to show you two videos. Now, I've been studying the World Economic Forum for a very long time. Remember, World Economic Forum was created in 1971 by Klaus Schwab. I'd highly recommend you dive down the rabbit hole. In 1971, we also detached from the gold standard. But if we back up to 1913, we had a entity that was created called the Federal Reserve. Now, many of you may think that the Federal Reserve was created and was a government entity. It actually is separate from the government. The Federal Reserve was created to create and protect the central banks, to protect the central banks. Now, the very people that protect the central banks are some of the richest people in the world. So I want you to think about that for just a moment. So if the people who protect the banks are controlling the government and are the richest people in the world, what information are you getting? If the richest people in the world, the six richest families or six conglomerates, control all the media, what information are you getting? Now, one of the keys you need to understand is, how do you hide something? I think many of you can comment down below. In plain sight. So when you let people know what's coming slowly and methodically, you're an honest person, right? If you're telling people what's coming through videos, through media, through news all the time, then it makes you an honest person, because they know that you're looking this way, as there's a whole nother narrative going on this way. You're more worried about the VMAs, the WAP videos, Tekashi 69, and people smoking 4,200 milligrams of THC on YouTube. We're more worried about booty shaking videos and all this crazy shit going on the internet. But Warriors, this is nothing new under the sun. But if you're watching this, maybe 2,000 to 3,000 people that maybe watch this video, you're a generational shifter. Now, the biggest thing I want to share with you as you go through this, I want you to share this with your friends and family, because my job and my skill is making the complex very, very simple. So we go back to 1930. We had the Federal Reserve that was created to protect the central banks that actually help them make their money, right? It's a circle. It's just a money flow. That's all it is. Then in 1971, we detached from the gold standard. Now, when we detached from the gold standard, that turned us into a printing machine. Okay. We're in a debt-based society. So if there is no debt in our economy, or if there's no interest in our economy, our whole economy would collapse in America. Now, as we sit on 2021, right now on this date, on this Saturday, our GDP and our debt to income ratio is basically backwards. Okay. So if America walked in to buy a car, they would get declined. Our GDP is upside down. So that's the gross domestic products, all the products, goods, and services in America. If we were to sell all of them, we could not even pay off our debt. Think about that. So the only way to keep this casino going is to keep printing money. And right now, what they're doing is, to keep printing money, they're buying junk bonds from companies that shouldn't even survive. So if you're buying junk bonds from companies that shouldn't even survive, you're keeping them alive when they're not putting any GDP into the economy. Now, that's going a little bit deeper, but to understand the economics is to understand the game, so you can't be played. So I'm going to show you, we're going to go back and revisit the World Economic Forum. And there's a video out there around the World Economic Forum that shares with you how you basically will own nothing and be happy, right? But I'm going to show you this video that I found. This was in 2017. They've been sharing you this for a long time, okay? So I'm going to show you this video, and then we're going to watch the Great Reset video. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down on how they've slowly, methodically gotten you used to the system. And so a lot of people resist and say, oh, they'll never do that to me, but it's already happening to you, Warriors. Probably about 98% of you watching this are already in a rental-based society, and I'm going to share with you how they've done it slowly and methodically. And then, of course, at the end, I'm going to share with you how I am preparing. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. You should make no financial decisions based on my advice or a long-haired hippie dude sharing with you his opinion on what's happening within the world. You should always make informed decisions. But you're watching this video for a reason. So let's watch this. You're going to have to read. So if you're driving, maybe pull over. Make sure you're in a safe place. You're going to watch the video because it's going to be words, okay? So the first verse on this, or the first letters on this, or first phrase on this is, can you rent everything you need in life? This is in 2017. They're already preparing you for about 10 years from now. Okay, let's pay attention. Okay, that was an important statement right there, Warriors. Did you catch that? Okay, it said you will own less and you'll have less debt. So you'll rent more and own less, you'll have less debt. Think about what's happening right now, Warriors. We're in the Shemitah, okay? We're in the 50-year Jubilee, and the Shemitah is a debt reset. If you've heard of Nasara Jasara before, these are just facts, figures, numbers, logic that are coming out, right? We're also at a debt ceiling. So in order to reset their debt, they may reset your debt, and you end up in a rental-based society where you have nothing. You don't own anything, right? In 50 years, maybe we won't own anything. In 50 years, maybe you won't own anything. Does that sound attractive to you? Or does that sound like a control mechanism to keep you trapped in a prison, right? The trapped in a prison where you own nothing. You have no ownership. Now, here's the thing that pisses me off about this, okay? Okay. This is not theirs. This is not theirs to own, nor is it ours to own. We are trustees of this land. I believe in God, and God gave us, entrusted us with this land. This is not their land. This is not our land. We are trustees of the land, right? We're supposed to take care of it. We're supposed to take ownership of our part and take care of it as a trustee of the land, right? They have no right to take this from us, but they're slowly and methodically doing it, and you're letting them do it, Warriors. Okay, so that's the first video here. Now, remember what I say, they hide things in plain sight. Okay, so now check out this video right here. I want you to look at something. Okay, this is the Great Reset. Now, they redid this video because there's so many YouTubers like me out there putting these videos out there, but I want you to notice something. This Great Reset video got 1,158,000 views. This is one of the biggest views on one of their Great Reset videos. Look at the dislikes, 56,000 dislikes, and they turned the comments off. But I want you to watch something. Look what they did in this video. So they did a redo video of the Great Reset video, hide it in plain sight. Watch how they explain this. They know that we know. They know that we know what's happening. We know so they're going to put it in plain sight. Watch it. Just let me shut up and let you watch the video.
The pandemic has radically changed the world as we know it. And the actions we take today as we work to recover will define our generation.
Urging society to think what history will say about this crisis.
2020 has been challenging on a lot of levels, as economic, environmental, and societal frailties have been laid bare. But it's also proved that when we need to, we can act rapidly and restructure our lives.
Recovery from the pandemic is
So when we need to, keywords, we can act rapidly and restructure our lives, all by design, Warriors.
an opportunity. We can see rays of hope in the form of a vaccine, but there is no vaccine for the planet. Nature needs a bailout.
We don't want to go back to the status quo.
that you had before simply because it was the status quo that got us here.
With everything falling apart, we can reach we couldn't before, ways that better address so many of the challenges we face. And that's why so many are calling for a great reset. A great reset?
Okay, this is where they put it right in your face. So they know that we're talking about this, and we're starting to figure out the game plan. So they did this video to counteract that. Look at the puppet strings. Now listen to what they say.
Sounds more like buzzword bingo, masking some nefarious plans for world domination. Hands up, this kind of slogan hasn't gone down well. But all we really want to say is that we all have an opportunity to build a better world. And it's not surprising that people who've been disenfranchised by a broken system and pushed even further by the pandemic will suspect global leaders of conspiracy. But the world's not that simple. Every one of us has differing priorities, values, and ideas. That's part of why solutions are so hard to come by, and why we all need to be involved in the decision making. Because whether it's politicians, CEOs, academics, activists, or you, we're all about getting people together, even those you may not like, to sit down at the table and develop solutions that work for all of us. But
did you notice how they threw that in there? Even people you don't like, and it had accounts suspended. Think about that.
Between the private sector and the public sector for this to actually work. That trust is hard to come by.
It's time for people to work together, listen to each other, and build this trust so we can move towards a better world. And we really need one. Because while the pandemic affects us all, it's clear it affects some more than others.
The first people who are hit are the people at the front, those who are vulnerable. It is those on the front line who take it first.
Okay, so I just wanted you to see that part where they talk about the nefarious. So they basically know that we're looking at it as people are being nefarious, right? They were like, okay, these people are being nefarious. They're creating a distraction. And so they put this video out. Where do you hide it? In plain sight. But I want you to think about something for just a moment. 1 million people have watched that. And the Watt, let's pull up the Watt video. I keep talking about it. Give me 1 second. Let's do this together, Warriors. So I know you guys know I do casual videos here, but I want you to see this really quickly because I keep bringing up the Watt video. Let's see how many views the Watt video has. How do you spell WAP? WAP. You guys know my spelling. WAP video. Let's see here. This is important because it's like, what the hell is going on here? I don't even know how to spell WAP. What's her name? Nikki. This is important. I wanted to think about this real quick. Dude, these videos. Oh my gosh. I mean, look at these videos. Okay, let's just pull this one up. Okay. I don't know if I pulled up the right artist, but let's just take a look here. Let's just take a look. This is crazy, Warriors. This is crazy. Okay, let me put this back on the screen here. Okay, here's why. Okay, let's pull this video up real quick. The World Economic Forum videos have about 400, maybe 70,000 views. Look at this. A billion views. 6.1 million likes. Nicki Minaj's channel has 7.89 billion views. Let that sink in for a second, Warriors. Let that sink in for a second. That's what we're focused on, okay? So here's the thing, Warriors. You're going to rent everything, own nothing, and be happy. That's what they say. But here's what you've been programmed into. Number one, your schooling system is an indoctrination system, right? You go to school, you get 2 15-minute breaks and a lunch break. What does that sound like? And then on Friday, you get super excited to go for the weekend. And then by Sunday, as a kid, you didn't want to go to school on Monday. What does that sound like? Corporate America. In school, people who are artistic, people who are entrepreneurs, people who are open-minded, what happened to those students? They were always had detention. They were getting in trouble for speaking out of school. They struggled. They failed. They got held back. Why? Because they were taught to memorize in school when they were trying to be creative and be problem solvers. So the schooling system does not reward problem solvers. Now, why don't they reward problem solvers? They reward people and rank people based on memorization because that's all they want you to do. Is they want you to get into your job, learn how to make a coffee, right? And serve the people, or go into a factory line, build microchips, learn how to memorize how to do it over and over again. That's it. They don't want you problem solving. They don't want you the one being to make the microchips. So they deem you into a system or build you into a system where you're just a worker. So now when you graduate, you go to school, and then the government got involved in education when education used to be very cheap. Think about it. Government gets involved in education. They get involved and start doing student loans, and education, the price goes through the roof. So now many of you are buried in thousands and thousands of dollars in debt, and you're making $30,000 a year. You're just in a just over broke system. And as they separate the rich and the poor, and they said it right there, there's going to be in the reset video, the separation during the pandemic between the rich and poor became much greater, and it's going to continue to get greater. The middle class is going to get wiped out, leveraged towards technology. Okay, so you go into a schooling system that indoctrinates you into a just over broke system. Right now, we're in a debt-based society, and here's how they trapped you. So everybody's like, this isn't going to happen to me. Let me ask you a question. Do you rent videos from a Blockbuster, or do you rent them off of Netflix? You're already renting your videos. Do you have iTunes? Do you have Spotify? You're already renting your music. Do you have a paid-off car? Many of you probably do not have a paid-off car. If you do, good job. You're not the majority. The majority of people do not have a paid-off car. They're making a car payment, and you don't own that car. You don't own that car. Okay. And we'll go a little bit deeper than that. Even after you pay off the car, you still don't own the car, right? Because your birth certificate, well, that's a whole nother story. So you don't own that car. And then by the time you get tired of the car, you get another 80-month loan. So you never actually own your car. And you never actually own your home. How many of you watching this have a paid off home? Probably the majority do not have a paid off home. So you got put into a 30-year mortgage, right? They wanted to extend your debt as long as possible when we used to live with our parents until we could afford to buy a house or buy a property and take ownership. We gave up our ownership, warriors. They didn't do anything to you. You allowed this to happen. We allowed this to happen. Our grandparents allowed this to happen. Our parents allowed this to happen. And we are allowing this to happen. So you don't own your movies. You don't own the music. You don't own your home. You don't own your car. You don't even own your cell phone anymore, warriors. Most of you make payments on a cell phone, and most cell phone places won't even let you pay it off. You rent your fucking phone now, warriors. So you rent your phone, you rent your car, you rent your house, and you think you have ownership because you have a mortgage. That's complete bullshit. The bank holds the mortgage. They hold the lien on that. When you pay it off because of your birth certificate, you don't even own the mortgage. You don't even own it, warriors. Think about it. You don't own anything right now, warriors. So they're getting you used to it. There's rideshare programs. We went from hotels to Airbnbs. We were going from taxis to Ubers. We went from rental car places down to Turo. Think about it. We're going from central banks to now DeFi, warriors. So why am I bringing this up to you? Because this is a pivotal point in history. This is a pivotal point in history. You're going to be on one side of the coin or the other. You're either going to be the person who's renting everything and is controlled, or you're going to be the person who owns everything where the poor people are paying for your assets. That's a fact. It's brutal to say that, but many of you are not going to listen to this and not take action on this. And many people in your family are not going to take action. I shouldn't say you. If you're watching this far, it's probably not you. But the unfortunate thing is that the wealthy people, us who bought assets during this time, us who were smart in the crypto space and pulled profits and continue to grow our asset base, right? We are actually going to be funded by the poor people's liabilities. Whereas I finally figured out this game. Now, remember, I spent 12 years in banking. I saw it at a very deep level. I've lived both sides of the coin. I've lost my money 3 times, and I finally figured out the reason why I kept losing my money, because I was indoctrinated into a system to make me think like a poor person. To make me think that when I got money, I needed to spend money to impress people I didn't like, to buy a car that I couldn't afford, right? That I couldn't afford, but I could spread it out over 80, 76, 34 months or whatever it was. I got indoctrinated. So I broke free from the indoctrination system and went into a free dome state of mind. And now I understand money. I just bought a $60,000 SUV. I didn't buy it. My assets paid for the liabilities. I have a corporation that paid for the car because we got tax benefits. The game is completely different when you start getting money, warriors. I don't make the payment on that car. I don't pay the insurance on that car. My corporation does. And we needed to get the car because of the Biden's tax laws. We're going to be paying a huge tax bill. So wouldn't you rather take that and buy a company car so you don't have to pay it in taxes and give it back to the government, or so I can help and add to society? So I was able to go to a dealership, buy a car that helped somebody, right, that sold the car, the person who was on the factory line who made the car. So I was able to go out into society and put money back into society, right, through helping people with jobs, Whereas the game is completely different. So when you start to think like them, you can play the game like them. And once you play the game like them, you can change the narrative. So you can bitch about it and complain about it, or you can become the narrative warriors. That's the only choice we have right now. And I'm just showing you, they're putting it in plain sight, right in front of your face, warriors. But Nicki Minaj, the Anaconda video, I forgot what the WAP video was called. I couldn't pull it up, but she's got 1 billion views. She's got 7.89 billion. 23 million subscribers. She only has 88 videos on there. Holy shit. She has 88 videos, 7.89 billion views. I have thousands of videos. I know I'm not Nicki Minaj. I don't got a booty like her, but I have thousands of videos and I have about 3 million views. Thousands and thousands of videos because this shit's boring. The stuff I'm telling you is boring. You'd rather be addicted to porn. You'd rather be addicted to opiates. You'd rather be addicted to alcohol. You'd rather bury yourself in this shit as they take away every single bit of your freedom. Freedom. It doesn't matter who the president is, warriors. I hope you understand that. It doesn't matter if left or right is president. There's a bigger narrative happening. And it's much higher than the president level, warriors. Whoever controls the money, controls the people, controls the information. That's a fact. It's not the president's making the decisions. There's a much bigger game at play here, warriors. And you've been tricked into it. You've been tricked to battle with left, right, up, down, mask, no mask, V, no V, C, no C. You've been tricked, warriors. You've been tricked because you're buried in pornography, you're buried in video games, you're buried in obsessive eating, all that stuff. And it's all by design. And it's not your fault, warriors, but it's now your fault now that you know you have responsibility. So now that you know that you have choices, that you have freedom, it's time to activate, warriors. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to share this information. If 2,000 people watch it, 1,000 people watch it, whatever, 2 people watch this, I'm going to share my truth and try to free as many people as possible from the just over broke system and get back what is ours. This is God's land. We're trustees of God's land. This is not the 1%'s land. It's our land to take care of for God. That's it. It's that simple. They don't have the right to take this from us. They don't have the right to make us rent something that was given to us by our higher power, right? We're trustees. And when we get it back, whereas it's not ours, it's ours to take care of while we're here on earth. So that's what I got for you today. Good day, guys. Send it to your friends and family. I love you guys. I appreciate it. If you can do that for me, send this out because my videos aren't getting that push because of the stuff I talk about. But that's okay because my mission is to help as many people as possible and help as many people as possible get their shit together. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. If you want to join our Private Warrior Academy, click the link down below. Join our free Discord, Private Warrior Academy. Be around a group of like-minded people. Warriors, rise. Get your shit together. Let's go.